This is Osiris USA, the Thrifty Gamer, and today I'm going to be showing you some Terraria. Now this is a crafting RPG, kind of. It's kind of the best I can do to explain exactly what this is in short terms. This game will run you about $10, so it should fall squarely within your budgeting price range. So let's go ahead and get into this here. I'll show you some settings. First of all, you've got video settings, plenty of stuff there to mess around with. I've actually got mine set up where I want it, so I'm not going to change anything. You can change your cursor color, volumes, controls, all that kind of stuff. So there's that. This does have a multiplayer. What this is when you create a world, it will have its own address, and then whoever wants to play in that world, if you are hosting it, you will have to give out the address to whoever you want to come and play. Let's go into the single player. As you can see, I've already got a character created. We will show you that later. Let's go ahead and make a new one. As you can see, you've got your little guy here. You can customize all of his different things. Change his hairstyle. You can change the color. Change his eyes, his skin, clothes that he's wearing, and all of this kind of stuff. Now this setting is for your difficulty. You see, softcore characters drop money, medium-core characters drop items, and hardcore characters die for good. So if you die in the game, that character is completely dead for end of story. So we'll go with softcore. Let's go ahead and create that guy. Osiris USA. And this is the first world that I made in the beginning. I'll be showing you some of that a little bit later. We're going to create a new one to kind of show you what it's all about. As you can see, it's generating all of the different biomes that are in the game. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go into our new world. As you can see, it takes much less time to actually load the world than it did to create it. And here we are. So this is the first NPC that you will get. He's here automatically. That is the guide. This is kind of what the stuff looks like on top. The first thing that we're going to want to do is kind of get some materials and find a nice place to build us a shelter, so that when night comes, the bad things won't get us. When night comes, zombies and demon eyes spawn. Demon eyes are just floating eyeballs. They like to come and attack you, and they're not very nice. What I'm doing now is harvesting some wood. Looks like I've got some nice big trees here. I should get lots of wood out of these guys. As you can see, this takes a little while to do at first. It starts you off with copper tools, and of course as you go through the game you can build yourself better tools than what they have provided for you. I think this area that we're standing on right here looks pretty good for a place to build a shelter. So let's get this last tree chopped down, and we will level it out a little bit, and we will build our shelter. Now, as you can see, all these things are going into my inventory. Everything that you pick up can be used in some fashion or another. The dirt and the wood obviously are made for building things. Mushrooms, you can consume them to give you more life. They can also be used to make health potions. Looks like we've got a little slime behind me. These guys run around during the day. and at first they tend to be quite annoying. So let's take our wood, and we're just going to go ahead and lay out a floor here. This is just going to kind of be a small abode, just somewhere to keep us safe while we're in here. I'm actually going to leave a little room here so that I can put a door on this. Now, as you can see, this is your inventory screen. You've got lots of space for stuff in your inventory. And this down here is your crafting menu. So what I'm going to want to do is build a workbench and place that down right here. And that, as you can see, will give you more options for things to craft. So we're going to build a door. Put that up here, and then we are also going to build some wood walls. And I appear to be getting destroyed by a slime. Let's take care of that. Alright, let's get a door on this place so we quit being disturbed by slimes. Now, in order for the game to recognize any structure as a proper home, it has to have two things. Well, it has to have a few different things. Of course, it has to be all sealed off like this is. It has to have a back wall. You also have to have a table and a chair. So we'll go ahead and build a table. And we will build a chair. We'll go ahead and place those. There we go. Now this is going to be considered a proper home. Now when you meet certain requirements, you can get more NPCs, and what one of those requirements has to be is that they have a proper home to live in, which is a structure kind of like what I've built here with a table and a chair. They each have individual requirements that they need to actually spawn, so be aware of that. Let's make some torches here. So we're going to be digging downwards. And let's make some wooden platforms. These are going to be useful for getting back out of the hole that I'm going to dig. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is make our tunnel right here in my house that I've just built. Put some wooden platforms over it so there's not a huge hole in my floor. What I'm going to show you now is what you can expect to find while you're mining. You can see we have hit some clay. This can be used to make pottery and some different items that aren't particularly useful. They are more vanity type items. We're just gonna keep mining downwards until we find something interesting, which hopefully will not take very long. This is kind of the problem with doing things in a randomly generated world. I don't know what's down here, so we're just going to have to go find it. That does add to the replayability of this game. You can always make a new world and it will be completely different from the one that you've made before. And you can always make new characters as well. So there's lots and lots of things to do in this game. Let's give ourselves a little more light here. As you can see, there are stone veins running down through here. What we really want to see is some ore, either some copper or some iron to start with. Then we'll be looking for silver and gold later on. Stone is good for buildings. That's a great thing to have when you're making your houses and whatnot. It looks like we found some iron here. We're going to want to go ahead and mine all this out. Once you have enough stone to make a forge, then you will be able to melt these ores down into bars and use them for crafting various items, armor, tools, weapons, things like that. So you can kind of expect to run into those things depending on how many has spawned in your particular world. I am going to keep going down here because there is something else that I wish to show you that hopefully we will run into before too much longer. There are caverns underground that contain various things, pots that you can break, they contain some useful items and usually some money, and also chests that can contain various accessories that give you different kinds of abilities or enhance certain types of abilities, and also they're a good place to kind of find veins of ore. I'm going to keep going down a little ways. If we don't hit one before too much longer, I may just give up on it on this one and show you some on the other world that I will go into. Looks like we have hit a huge vein of stone. Like I said, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Stone's great for building stuff. Let's see what's over here. Looks like just a little tube, but I do see something blinking down in the corner, which means that there's probably a cavern right down there. Indeed there is, and it looks like there is some water, along with a jellyfish. Let's go over here, and we'll check out what's going on in this little cavern. Myself a little more light. As you upgrade your tools into higher quality tools, they will actually do things faster. So if you go from a copper pick, which is the pick that you start with, to say a silver or iron pick, then you will actually mine faster. You will cut through these blocks a lot faster than, say, I am now. Which is always a good thing. You don't want to be going through the entire game cutting things this slow. Alright, looks like we've got a jellyfish that is really not happy that I'm in his little abode here. And also a blue slime. It would really suck if I died right here and was not able to actually show you what is in this cavern. And that's exactly what happened. But there are these caverns down here, and you will be able to explore them and kind of see what's going on in there. And as you can see, it's getting dark outside, so we'll hang out in this little world for a minute, and I'll show you the things that come around at night. As you can see, there's a pot here. These are the kind of pots that you will find underground. They are above ground as well, usually in caverns that start above ground. And they contain various things. I think that one probably just had some money in it by the looks of it. Here's my little house that I built. Let's go over here just for the heck of it and see what's down this direction. You'll have to excuse me, I'm suffering from a bit of an illness. I hope it doesn't interfere too much with what we've got going on here. As you can see, there are these caverns that open up to the above ground. Looks like we've got some cobwebs here. They're used to make silk and some other items. And as you can see, things have come out. We have a zombie and a demon eye. The zombie is probably going to kill me because I am poorly equipped to deal with such things. And indeed, I did die. As you can see, there are these little quippy death note quotes down here. It says, I was eviscerated by the zombie. And depending on how you die, it will give you some other kind of little funny message as you die. So, pretty much to begin with, you're going to want to avoid walking around at night. You're going to want to kind of mine down here and get your ores and get yourself equipped a little bit better to go out and explore the world. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and exit this world, and I will show you some of the higher tier things in this game. Go back into single player, use my other Osiris USA character, and we'll go into this world here. Okay, here we are. Now, as you can see, I've got a little apartment type structure going on here. These are all the different NPCs that you will encounter through your adventures in the game. We've got an arms dealer, a dryad, demolitionist, a nurse, a merchant, a clothier, and of course the guide. And as you can see, they've each got their own little area that they live in. I've put some chests in some of the different levels where I keep various things. What I have in here is pretty much all of my crafting things. I've got the workbench, sawmill, a loom, the forge. I've got a table with a bottle on it, which allows you to do alchemy. And I have an anvil, which is required for crafting weapons and armor and things like that. So, and also there is a bed here. You will need various different things to craft the bed, but once you do, you can click it and that will be your spawn point. So, wherever you spawn initially in the world, that will be your default spawn point until you build a bed and set that as your new spawn point. And you can place a bed anywhere you wish, as long as it is within a home. I think that's a requirement. It has to be within a home. And then you can spawn in that space, wherever it is. You can build one across the other side of the map. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you some of the stuff above ground, starting with the second biome that you will encounter after you leave the main area, which is considered forest. And it happens to not be too far away from where I started. This is the Corruption. Now in the Corruption we'll have some various baddies spawning. Here's one right here, called the Eater of Souls. On the top of the Corruption, up here on the surface, you will find corrupt mushrooms. And those are actually used to craft some items that you will need to summon bosses. So you'll need to pick those up when you're ready to summon bosses and fight them. Down here, underneath the Corruption, you will find these right here are demon altars. They are needed to actually craft the items to summon the bosses that you will fight. And there are some other items down here. I will show you this little area. As you can see, looks as if it's been mined out, but it wasn't. This channel right here, I did mine out to get to this opening. In this opening was something called a shadow orb. Now when you break a shadow orb, you will get a good item, magical items or weapons or something of that sort, and it will give you a message that says that something bad is happening. There are screams around you, or something like that. If you actually break open 3 shadow orbs, it will summon the Eater of Worlds, which happens to be the second tier boss in the game. So you want to be careful when you're going about that. If you're not ready to fight that particular boss, you don't want to be breaking open every shadow orb that you come across. Now note that I do have an accessory right now that stops me from taking damage when I fall. So don't try jumping down long distances without that, because you will die. I guess I can show you those things. I have accessories here. There's my lucky horseshoe. It negates fall damage. Also, this is the armor that is actually giving me stats. Over here is my social pain. This armor is actually just for looks, so as you can see, this is what I look like. If I were to take a piece of that off, then the equipment underneath that is actually giving me stats is going to show through. I like this particular armor set, so I tend to keep it around. Now let's go ahead and climb out of here. This is something kind of neat to show you. This item is called the Ivy Whip, sorry. It is a modified grappling hook. You will need several different materials to make this particular item. The first thing that you're going to have to make is a grappling hook, which you will have to obtain a hook off of a skeleton and then craft, I think it's 3 iron chains. So you'll need to find yourself some iron and get a hook off of a skeleton in the caverns underground in order to craft the grappling hook, and then you'll need some other items from the jungle to craft the Ivy Whip. And speaking of the jungle, since we're in this general direction, I will run over there and show you the jungle. Now, as you can see, there are stars laying around on the ground. I should probably be picking those up, but it seems that I don't have any room in my inventory at the moment. Those are used to increase your mana pool, which is always good. They are also used to craft certain items. So you always want to kind of pick those up when you can. Now, they only come down at night, and as you saw in the previous world, it is pretty dangerous to go running around at night if you are not properly equipped, so you don't want to be doing that. Pick a few of those up. Now, here we have entered the jungle. It's still night out, so you can't really see what is above ground, which is not really much in regards to what you're going to be looking for. What you are going to be interested in is what is below ground. Now, as you can see, there are some monsters down here that are not particularly nice, and if you are not properly equipped, will make quick work of destroying you. Also down here are some very useful items. Like I said, you need some of these things to craft the Ivy Whip. One of them is a stinger, which dropped off of that wasp creature. Another is vines, which drop from those plant guys. They are called man-eaters. And if I can run across one here, there is another item that tends to just kind of hang out around by itself. And as you can see right down here in the corner, there's one that's called a jungle spore. You actually need a lot of those to craft many different items in the game. I'm not going to mine over to that one because I don't think that that would really be worth my time. Oh look, here's one right here. It's not too far off, so we'll mine through to it. Let's get a glow stick down here so I can see what's going on. When you come across these things, all you really have to do is hit it. Like I hit that with my sword, and now it's laying on the ground. It's jungle spores. So those are the things that you're going to be wanting to look for in the jungle. As you can see, I took quite a bit of damage even with what armor and gear that I have now. So this is kind of a higher tier area that you're not going to want to come into until you're pretty well equipped. So I have this other item here. It's called a magic mirror. What it does is teleports me back to my spawn point. So here I am. Now the next thing I think I'll show you, since I didn't really get a good chance to show you in the other world are some caverns underground. Now, a lot of these are mine shafts that I've mined out, but as you can see, there's a couple of demon altars that have spawned down under my house here. So they don't only spawn in the corruption, but they are more likely to be found there. Let's go over here and see if we can find a decent cavern to show you about. As you can see, I think this actually goes down quite a way, so I'm not going to want to jump into there. And this one is kind of filled up with water, and there's another one over here off to this side, but as you can see, I've mined down into these places, and they generally contain pots and chests and ore and things like that that you won't really see a lot of in these ones because I've already mined it all out. So let's go ahead and jump down this shaft here. This actually goes all the way up to the top, and as you can see, it goes quite a long ways down. This is called a elevator, and it will take me all the way to the underworld, which we should be getting to right about now. Now this little area here where I've got some water at the bottom of the shaft, I didn't actually have a lucky horseshoe when I built this. When you fall a long ways, if you fall into water, you will not take damage. So that's a good idea to actually make an area where you have some water to fall into. Also, you can see this purple ore right here. This is called obsidian, and it only occurs when water meets lava. So it's kind of a good idea to bring some water with you down while you're mining. It can be kind of dangerous because it's real easy to drown yourself in the process. But if you manage to get it down here, you will be able to make pretty good sized deposits of obsidian. And you actually need this to create hellstone bars, which are used for making, as far as I know, the highest tier items in the game at this point. Such as this sword that I'm using is made out of hellstone. I have a boomerang that is also made out of hellstone. This gun you have to have hellstone for, so a lot of things that you make will use hellstone, and like I said, it's the highest tier stuff. This is actually hellstone right here. And you have to be really careful when you're mining it, because when you mine it out, it turns into lava. And lava will kill you really quickly, no matter what armor you're wearing. It is very bad stuff. As you can see, I'm actually dying fairly quickly to it. And that's about the extent. Oh, there is one more thing down here that we need to talk about. This chest right here is called a shadow chest. As you can see, when I mouse over it, it has a little key icon. You have to have a shadow key to open the shadow chest. I don't actually have a shadow key yet, so I have not opened this chest. But they generally contain a rare item, sometimes a very good weapon can be found in there, and some various other items of good quality. So I do believe that the shadow key drops from the creatures that reside down here in the underworld. But like I said, I can't confirm that because I've not found one yet. And that is pretty much all you need to know about the underworld. You said you will have to come down here to find the hellstone, which is going to be used to make your high tier armor. So let's go ahead and teleport back to my house. Now I will show you one other biome and a couple other neat things before we wrap this up. I've built these sky bridges to kind of transport myself faster between these areas. This is a good idea to kind of get yourself between point A and B in a reasonable time period. They do have drawback though. There is meteors that will crash down, and they are used to craft different types of items. And if the meteor lands on your sky bridge, it will take out your sky bridge and not drop very much meteorite, which is the ore that drops off the meteors. So you kind of want to be careful with that. If you're past the point of using meteorite, then it's okay to, build sky bridges and you don't have to worry about it because you don't really need the meteorite. If you're at a point where you really need the meteorite, I would suggest maybe not making sky bridges until you've got the meteorite that you need. Now, what I've got here, this is a floating island. As far as I know, there can be 3 that spawn per world. And what you will find on the floating islands are these little houses here, and inside will be a chest. And inside the chest are generally accessories. That's actually where you will most likely find the lucky horseshoe and some other various items of value, money, arrows, things like that. And like I said, there can be 3. The ones in this particular world actually spawned fairly close to each other. They're all right in a line right here. I don't think I'll bother showing you the other ones. They're pretty much exactly like the first one. Looks like I've got some harpies following me, which can be a nuisance, so take care of that. As you can see underneath me here, we have a desert. And as you see, the desert has cactus that will hurt you. They only cause 1 damage whenever you run past them, so if you're wearing higher tier armor like I am, as you can see, it doesn't really affect you that much. On the lower tiers, it does become a problem. It can be very hard to actually get yourself through the desert without losing a lot of life. And the desert, you can mine out these cactus. You can chop them down or mine out the block that's underneath of them, and you can get cactus. It is used for making potions. There are other herbs called water leaf that you will use to make a water breathing potion. But other than that, the desert is pretty much just annoying. Let's go ahead and get past here. I want to get through this desert because, like I said, there is not really anything of interest. And as you can see, we've got a small forest here on this other side. This is the most common type of biome. It will usually be found in the starting area and then between other zones. So expect to see quite a bit of that biome. And right on the other side of this hill, we will find the dungeon. I'm going to come back to the dungeon in just a minute because it's going to be the last thing that I talk about. What we're actually going to do right now is go ahead and hop over the dungeon so that I can show you one last biome type that is useful in some ways. Alright, over here, if I remember correctly, and it looks like I do, you will find the ocean. Now, in the ocean you will find jellyfish, which drop glow sticks. Those are very useful for navigating around in water. You will find coral. These are also used for making the water breathing potion. You will find sharks, which are... Shark's fins are used for a potion. I'm not really sure which one. I don't really remember right at the moment. You'll find crabs. They don't really do anything. They're kind of annoying. And you'll find chests. I'm running out of breath, so I'm going to run back to the surface before I try and open that chest. I can't guarantee that I haven't already opened that chest. I don't remember. But we'll go down and give it a shot. In the chest, you will usually find water-related items. You might find item like this, the breathing reed. It will help you breathe underwater, which is kind of a good thing. I think we will drop some lenses for that. And I'm getting killed by a crab, and I'm going to drown all at the same time, so that's not good. As you can see here, we found a goblin scout. They drop coins and these tattered cloths, which you can use to make a war banner. I do believe if you place the war banner, an army of goblins will attack your little abode or city, depending on how big you've actually made your home, which is generally not very nice. So let's equip our breathing rod here. So I want to go get the rest of the stuff that's in that chest, and I'm going to use another item I have called the Orb of Light, which sets out this little orb and it lights a small area around you. So let's get rid of that crab, he's kind of annoying. As you can see, I lose air a lot less when I am using this breathing reed. We've got a shine potion, which makes you glow, which is kind of nifty. Some copper bars and some grenades. I don't actually need the copper, so I'm just going to leave it there and take the grenades. I'm going to show you something else with this breathing rod. It does extend the amount of air that you can keep underwater, but if you are actually in a place where you're just slightly below water, and the reed is actually above water, as you can see, you don't have a breath meter. So that will allow you to breathe infinitely as long as you're in shallow water, which is kind of nifty, I suppose. Look, a shark. Note not to try and use things when your inventory is open because you will drop it on the ground, which is not very good. As you can see, dropped a shark fin, which is used for crafting. Alright, that is all of that. Let's go have a look at the dungeon, and then we will wrap up this video. Okay, let's climb my way up the side of the dungeon here. Now, when you first encounter the dungeon, there will be an old man out front. And you have to come and talk to him at night, and that will spawn Skeletron, which is the third tier boss in the game. And you have to defeat Skeletron in order to enter the dungeon. If you do not defeat Skeletron and try and go into the dungeon, huge skulls will come out and one-shot you. No matter how good of gear you have, they will one-shot you. So you really have to come and defeat Skeletron before you enter the dungeon. Another thing, while we're on the subject of bosses, I didn't really talk about the first tier boss, which is the Eye of Cthulhu. Nothing really special to say about him. It will be pretty intense, being the first boss that you fight, so you will need some items, and I think it's 10 lenses and a demon altar to craft a suspicious looking eye, and that will actually summon the Eye of Cthulhu, which is the first boss. You will need to be sufficiently geared to deal with that. I wouldn't suggest trying it in, say, iron armor. Maybe silver or gold would be good. Now we're down here in the dungeon a little ways, and as you can see, we've got some skeletons. They will drop money, and they will also drop bones, which are used to craft the armor set that you can see that I'm wearing, the stuff that I've got equipped in the social slots. So, if you like that armor, it is pretty good armor. It's not the best, but you will need that to craft this armor set. Let's go down here a little ways and see if we can find something good. There are lots of chests in the dungeons, of course, and most of them require a key, which will drop off of the various monsters that you fight down here. Here's one, for instance. I'm pretty sure I've already opened this one. It's still got silver bars and a water walking potion in it. And like I said, that was locked. I did need a key to open that chest. So just be aware that you will have to get the keys to open these chests in here. Let's see. Looks like we've got a slime in the bottom of this pit here that actually has a key. Let's go ahead and kill that and get the key. I think we'll drop some grenades down in there. You gotta watch out for the little flame wheels that are rolling around. They can't be killed, and they tend to be rather annoying. Alright, looks like we killed all the stuff that was down there. We're going to drop down there, and we're going to get hurt a little bit because it is full of spikes. It seems that I have forgotten that my inventory is completely full and was not able to pick up the key. I'm also being pushed down into the spikes by skeletons, which is not good. So let's drop something out of my inventory here. Make this shackle. That is a accessory item, lower tier, not really all that impressive. It looks like that I have gone ahead and dropped my sword on the ground, which is not good. And I died. My entrails were ripped out, as you can see. I think that's about a good time to stop this video. I think I've kind of showed you what the game's about, what you can expect from it. Like I said, this one's only going to cost you $10. I bought mine off Steam. It's an easy place to go get your games, and they usually have some really good deals over there. So I'm going to wrap this up and tell you that you can follow me on Facebook at The Thrifty Gamer. If you go there, you'll be able to link into any of my articles, podcasts, YouTube videos. All of that stuff will be posted up there. And if you would like to send me an email, I would love to hear from you. You can send that to OsirisUSA@thethriftygamer.com. And until next time, good gaming.